Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Jai Jai Shri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. 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 Jai Advaita Chandradaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. 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 Jai Jai Shri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. 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 Jai Advaita Chandradaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Advaita Chandradaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we're reading today from the Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Adi-Lila chapter 7, entitled Lord Chaitanya and Five Features, text 20 and 21. And because it will be short, so I think I'll just chant a verse and start speaking. Sei panchatattva-mile prithvi asiya purva prema bandhanena mudra mukhadeya panchamililotta prem kore ashwadam yata yata piya Krishna bhadeyanam sam. Say those panchatattva, five truths, mili, combined together. Prithvi, on this earth. Asiya, descending. Purva, original. Prema bandharera, the store of transcendental love. Mudra, seals. Uggaliya, opening. Panchamili, mixing together all these five. Lute, plunder. Prema, love of God. Karyashvada, taste. Yata yata, as much as. Piye, drink. Trishna, thirst. Adi, increases. Anuksha, again and again. Translation. The characteristics of Krishna are understood to be a storehouse of transcendental love. Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna when he was present, it was sealed. But when Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came with his associates of the Panchatattva, they broke the seal and plundered the storehouse to taste transcendental love of Krishna. The more they tasted it, the more their thirst for it grew. Purport. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is called Mahavadanya Avatar because although he is Sri Krishna himself, he is even more favorably disposed to the poor fallen souls than Lord Sri Krishna. When Lord Sri Krishna himself was personally present, he demanded that everyone surrender unto him and promised that he would then give one all protection But when Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to this earth with his associates, he simply distributed transcendental love of God without discrimination. Sri Rupa Goswami therefore could understand that Lord Chaitanya was none other than Sri Krishna himself, for no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can distribute confidential love of the Supreme Personality, of the Supreme Person. When the Panchatattva broke the seal of the storehouse of love of God, what they did is they plundered that store, and they began to drink it again and again. And in this way, they became totally absorbed in relishing the nectar of the chanting of the holy name. We find that Srivas Thakur in his house was greatly blessed, because his house, practically speaking, became the headquarters of the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There every night kirtans would go on. In the day, many pujas were going on, the deities were being worshipped, and great devotees would stay in the house of Srivas. Lord Nityananda, he would stay in the house of Srivas. Haridas Thakur would stay in the house of Srivas. But those kirtans that were performed in that home, they were performed behind closed doors, which is also interesting, because one thinks of Lord Chaitanya's movement like the Sankirtan movement that is flooding the whole world, and the congregational chanting of the holy name. And thus we think that Sankirtan means giving out the mercy. And that is undoubtedly so. There is Sankirtan without distributing the mercy is becoming dry. That mercy element is very important, because it is mentioned here in the Caitanya Caritamrta that by distributing whatever love of God or whatever taste in spiritual life one has received, and by generously giving that away, one winds up with more than he had before. So in this way, one's Krishna consciousness increases by distributing Krishna consciousness. But we see that the Panchatattva took time to chant amongst themselves. It's that what inspired me to choose this verse, because that's what we are doing. And somehow or other, I'm thinking how everything was arranged by the Supreme Lord. In the Kadacha of Murari Gupta, we find a description how Narada Muni went to the Supreme Lord and explained to him the condition of the residents of the age of Kali. And he was saying people are very short-lived. They have become addicted to many bad habits. They eat abominable things. They have become very short, and virtually speaking, there is no hope for the people in this age of Kali. Then the Lord asked Narada, well, what is your solution? And Narada said, my solution is that you must appear in this world and distribute the chanting of the holy name. And then the Lord replied, so be it, tatastu. And then Narada began to describe the future. You will appear as the son of Jagannath Mishra, and so on. And you will everywhere distribute this congregational chanting. Like that. And then that same Narada appears as Srivas Thakur, which is interesting. And I was studying the life of Srivas Thakur, and what I found is that it was all happening in his house. He was a householder, but it all happened there. In fact, his Krishna consciousness happened so much there that he refused to do anything else. He said, I will not get any occupation. No. Lord Chaitanya said, Srivas, I see that in the day you are worshipping, you're doing your puja all day. I see that in the night you are having kirtan. Srivas, I see that you have a very large house. Srivas, I see that you have a large family. You're living here with your other 3 brothers. Srivas, I am seeing that you never go to work. My Lord, I promise you, I will never work. But Srivas, how will you maintain your family? Very simple, very simple. If you don't supply, then me and my family members will simply fast. Okay. If on the second day you don't supply, then me and my family members will simply fast. If on the third day you don't supply, then me and my family members will all jump in the Ganga. No, Srivas, you don't have to work. There never will be a shortage of anything in your house. This is Chaitanya Bhagavat from Vrindavan Das Thakur. So it's very interesting to see that he had this faith. He displayed great faith, and the Lord basically performed Sankirtan from his home, and from there it spread. The Chandkazi came, broke the Mridanga, and then there was this protest kirtan. And this kirtan was enormous, enormous. It is said there were thousands and thousands of mridangas being played, and all in time, simultaneously. Amazing. Yes, I mean, how could that happen? That's only by divine mercy. But it sounded like thunderclaps. By thunderclaps, it is said that torches were there. The devotees in the evening were carrying torches, and the light was as bright as daylight. As the Sankirtan party went to the street, everyone was Nat was spontaneously decorating the street, throwing flower petals and so on. And people just walked out of their houses, and thieves entered into those houses to steal. But then the thieves, they also turned around and said, let's just have a look at the kirtan. And then they also joined the kirtan and forgot to steal. In this way, everyone... So from that house of Srivas, the kirtan began to flow in all directions and everywhere, spread over Navadvip. One can see main dancers. It is interesting that in the kirtan parties of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oftentimes the main dancers were the old guys. Like you saw, Advaita Acharya was a main dancer, but he was a good 50 years older than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if Nimai was around 22, in 24 he took sannyas. This is before. That makes Advaita Acharya way in his 70s, 74, 75, as the main dancer. So like that, there were everything, all material limitations were transcended in kirtan. Everyone became ecstatic, and this ecstasy, this enthusiasm was enabling people to do things that they would normally not be able to do. And then the Lord added on to it and empowered them further by enabling them further to transcend their material bodies. This Sankirtan party with the Panchatattva dancing, with Rupa later. We see Rupa and Sanatan dancing. We see the entire 6 Goswamis dancing. We see Narottam Das Thakur dancing. We see then Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur dancing, Baladev Vijayabhusan dancing, Jagannath Das Babaji dancing, all the way to Srila Prabhupada dancing in London in 1973, in that incredible Rath Yatra, where Prabhupada was very ill when he came because actually his sister had cooked kachoris for him in Mayapur, and they were cooked in mustard oil, and Prabhupada said, "She tried to kill me, she tried to poison me." And then Prabhupada had dysentery, and still on the way to London he wasn't well. But all transcendent, all forgotten, when Prabhupada danced in front of the Rath cart in 1973, turning around again and again, stopping the chariot and the police. Some say it was to Brahmananda, some say it was to Takirti, whoever it was, the police told the devotees to tell the old man to move along. So I heard the story that it was Brahmananda. And Brahmananda, who was huge in size, a natural leader, the police told him, tell him to move along. So Brahmananda looked at the police, he looked at Prabhupada and was thinking of who he feared the most. And he feared Prabhupada more than the police. So he didn't say anything. So then the police said, tell him! That's okay, then he went. And then Prabhupada just looked at him and he said, the police wants us to move on. Prabhupada looked at him and he shrunk and became the size of a mouse. And that was it. The kirtan just continued with great ecstasy. And from Prabhupada, from his kirtans, that started in Tompkins Square Park under that tree or in Matchless Gifts, and then spread all over the world, these kirtans are still echoing now. The original kirtan of Srivas Angan is echoing today and is now here. It echoes in the hearts of people, where it creates a taste, where it somehow or other changes something, where it gives meaning to life, which previously seemed empty and just hollow and dark. And it gives new hope, hope that actually there is happiness after all, to all those who tried and became utterly frustrated and utterly discouraged and had no more faith that actually happiness would be attained this life, and were simply playing around a little bit with the material energy in a desperate attempt to give some meaning to life. But then suddenly, real meaning, real taste, and it is there. The experience itself is nectar, without a doubt. Without a doubt. The taste at the time is inspirational. But greater still is the effect that the holy name has upon the heart. Because that benefit is eternal. The eternal benefit of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the greatest benefit, without a doubt. Because that benefit is what is transforming us. Prabhupada once mentioned that the chanting of the Hare Krishna is so potent, it permanently creates a transformation. You can see it at me. Yeah? I'm doing a demonstration for you. look carefully and tell me what the changes are. Hare Krishna. What are the changes?
Much more happier.
Much more?
Happier.
Much more happy, huh? Much more happy. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada explained that by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he said the subtle body changes. Just by chanting the mantra once, the subtle body changes. All that ballast, that mind that we have been carrying with us life after life, that mind that has been filled with impressions. Can you imagine? It's like a huge heavy suitcase that we're carrying around. Each time more goes inside each life, and we're carrying it with us, life after life. This weight is pulling us down. Of course, maybe some happiness also, but ultimately it begins really to change when we begin with devotional service. Unknowingly, agyata sukriti, but then we begin. Until we come to the point where that devotional service becomes more dense. Srila Rupa Goswami is describing the point Sandrananda Visheshatma. He says devotional service, it becomes more and more dense over time. We can take the example of water, which exists in different stages. Water exists in the form of steam. At that state, it's not very dense. Then it exists in the form of water. It has become more dense. And in the form of ice, it has become most dense. The molecules are packed together. So, that is interesting. Spiritual life is equally so. It is said, ahaitikya pratiyata, that devotional service must be uninterrupted and unmotivated. So, interrupted, a little service here. That was a lot of work. Now I deserve some sense gratification for at least the next hour, and then maybe I can do another 5 minutes of service, and then another hour. Or, once a month, once in the year, Janmashtami is a great day for doing something. And that's all auspicious, but gradually it becomes more dense. So, in the house of Srivas, the kirtan was very deep. The kirtan was deeply involved. The kirtan was performed with deep understanding. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally was relishing the amazing qualities of Krishna, being very much aware of Krishna's transcendental nature, being fully absorbed in meditation on Krishna's endless qualities. Now, if there was a normal time schedule, I would get into the qualities of Krishna and I would sketch them, describe them, and maybe begin with the flute and how Krishna plays so many different flutes. Venu, a small flute, and then Mahananda, the big flute, deep and loud for the cowherd boys, and many others in between. Today, keep it very short, because basically, they say the proof of the pudding is in the eating, after all. So the proof of the chanting is in chanting. Yeah, what can I say? So therefore, we will not draw out this talk very, very long, but a little more is possible. The qualities of Krishna are endless. And one of my favorite quotes in the Caitanya Caritamrta is a description in Adi-Lila chapter 4, where it is described that the love of Srimati Radharani is like a mirror, which is mirroring or reflecting the unlimited qualities of Krishna. And each time when she finds a quality of Krishna, then her love embraces that quality, glorifies that quality, and just totally proclaims to the world that quality, is serving that quality, and so on. And then she discovers another quality, and her love embraces that also. So I like this very much because it explains how there is no limit. No limit in bhakti, no limit in love for Krishna. Because not only Srimati Radharani is having that experience, but all the devotees in the spiritual world are having that experience. And then it is not that Krishna is passively receiving that love. It is not that Krishna is simply passively kind of blessing. No. Krishna himself is also involved. Krishna equally is touched by that love. And love also awakens in his heart in response. And in this is called the Prema Sagar or Premamritambo, the ocean of transcendental love. So this ocean of transcendental love is eternally increasing. It never ends to increase. All these devotees are just enjoying and embracing Krishna's amazing qualities and then just glorifying them. Krishna, seeing all that love, is reciprocating with love himself, and more devotees are joining these pastimes. And in this way, the ocean of transcendental love is eternally increasing. This is Sankirtan. This is really what is happening. So now, the kirtan is flooding the world in waves. First, Srila Prabhupada created a very powerful tidal wave. Prabhupada explained, purity is the force. He created a powerful tidal wave that flooded in all directions. And then new waves are coming. And kirtan may come in different forms and shapes. I remember here in Radhadesh, wild kirtans. In the beginning, the deities were upstairs in a room, and I was just back from India at that time. And here in the hall, I remember there was a cupboard. Devotees would climb on it and jump off the cupboard and fly into the middle of the kirtan. Vasutama used to do that. Yeah. And Jayagopal was leading kirtans, and others were. They were wild, up and down the stairs and everywhere. And that was the style. Right? It was everywhere like that. In Vrindavan we would do it. They would do it everywhere. I'm sure they did it in the manor all over the building here. The Kripamai probably was a terror. Yeah. So like that, these things were going on. Now we also have another style of sitting down. Kirtan styles changed. When Narottam Das Thakur came, he changed the kirtan. He had a special style of kirtan that no one had performed. In our modern times, Ayindra did something to kirtan, absolutely. His kirtan also spread widely all over the world. So kirtan tends to echo. The glorification of the Lord echoes. It echoes all over the world. So these Radhadesh mellows are more than nice gatherings, more than a party, more than having a great time, which we are having. They are gatherings where we are entering into the storehouse of love of God and drink deeply, and drink deeply. And we should drink again and again. And then everywhere now Kirtan Melas. A Mayapur one is coming up, the second one in Germany is coming up in September. Check out the websites, Kirtan Mela everywhere, in every home. Why not? Why not? I used to walk around Vrindavan in the late 70s and I would see or hear Kirtan in every house. Every house there was Kirtan. Then later the evil eye of the blue light of television took the place of those Kirtans. Yes. So therefore I have, if any of you have a television, I have a special program. They can invite me to come and do Kirtan in the house. I will come with some party and we'll have an ecstatic Kirtan, and then in the middle of that Kirtan we'll take the television, carry it upstairs, open the window, and the loud Haribols. When the loud Haribols, we will bring it to a crescendo. Yes. So like that, I am always ready, anytime. Because when in every house there is simply Kirtan, then everything will become very blissful. So that these Kirtan melas or mellows, whatever they are exactly that. They are the places that create more and more Kirtan all over the planet. So it is very nice that we can be here in these historical Kirtans. We'll remember them in the future. When Manu has turned old, I say, well, we used to have Kirtan mellows. Just as now we are talking, well, we used to have here flying Kirtans at the hall in Radhadesh. And then the next generations, I don't know what style of Kirtans they'll invent, but the Kirtan will never end. That I guarantee you. It will not end. Prabhupada said it's too late. The bug has entered the system. The contamination has gone on. It's too late. Now it cannot be stopped. So this is Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Niranta Krishna Nama Sankirtan, to without end chant the holy name of the Lord. I have a few minutes. If there is a question, then we can try to answer.
I have a question. Yes. Yesterday we heard that there are some recommendations for Bhaktivinoda.
There is some?
Yesterday we heard about Bhaktivinoda Thakur's recommendations. One of them was not to just perform devotional service as a prescribed duty. And Satyananda Maharaj was encouraging us to come to the stage of loving devotional service. But still, last night I was thinking, and this morning I was thinking that when our Kirtan Mela extends late into the night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, then the devotees neglect their prescribed duty to, and it's more like in passion, and they neglect their prescribed duty to rise early and attend Arti, which is the mode of goodness.
Okay. Yes.
So, I wonder if we could improve the Kirtan Mela if the devotees would not do that.
Okay. It's more a comment, I think. I mean, it's not really a question. I mean, I think my answer is yes. I think so. I came from Undvarti. And you always came from Undvarti. But even if not, even if not. I also think that sometimes there is Nitya Kriya and there's Naimitika Kriya. Sometimes in Naimitika Kriya, Nitya Kriya means the spiritual practices of every day. Naimitika Kriya means these extraordinary spiritual activities which we perform sometimes to lift ourselves up. 64 rounds on Janmashtami or more, all these kind of things. So if sometimes, then even Mangalartik is less attendant on a special festival, I think it's all right. I don't think it's necessarily wrong. But there is no loss. There is absolutely no loss to come to Mangalartik. And those who don't have a Mangalartik in their life, they're missing something. There's no doubt about that. So I'm also myself a Mangalartik man. I think when there's Mangalartik in my life, then I know that everything else falls into place automatically. My rounds and then everything I have to do in the day. Mangalartik is such a thing. You just go to Mangalartik and then everything else finds a slot somewhere. Yeah? But if there's no Mangalartik, oh my God, then the rounds are not happening, and then the rounds are not happening, then the day is not happening, or the day is happening too much, if you know what I mean. And as I sometimes say, sometimes you're on top of the elephant, and sometimes the elephant is on top of you. And to be on top of the elephant, the best way is to start with Mangalartik. So, but these matters are so complex, because they require a very balanced response. They require, because there are many aspects to it. And I think the Naimitika Kriya, the special occasion aspect, is also there and can also not be ignored. And I think that therefore it's not that we should now develop a righteous attitude, a holier than thou attitude. We are the Mangalartik club, and all those who didn't make it, they unfortunately are off. Totally. They're in the mode of passion. Also not necessarily, so it's difficult. But as a general practice, Mangalartik is such an asset. Anyway, now I gave an answer anyway. Although I didn't want to. I want to do. Ultimately, I think that we should work on this Kirtan Mela, expand it, and have more Kirtan Melas, and then of course we should also have some of these old-fashioned Mahaharinams, everybody out in the street, 500 devotees in London, right? Going out on a Harinam. I went on one of those in Cortland. Things like that we should also do. Rathayatras that explode and dance like Prabhupada. Both in the house and in the street. Both. That is Chaitanya's Sankirtan. Okay, the last word you have, because 8:45 is the ultimate cut-off point.
You were saying, Maharaj, about how Srimati Radharani discovers new qualities of Krishna, and then she is embracing those qualities and loving him more, and Krishna is reciprocating. And you're saying how Krishna is reciprocating the love of his devotees.
Yeah,
I was wondering, is Krishna also like that he looks at his devotees and discovers qualities and loves them more as individuals?
Yeah, I said that. I tried to say that. I tried to say that Krishna reciprocates. Yes. So the love awakens love in Krishna. Yeah. So yes, Krishna is also relishing the qualities of his devotees.
Not just Radharani, but everyone.
Oh, yeah, no, everyone. I think I said that.
But I wanted
Maybe
to make sure.
you wanted to say it again.
No.
Or you wanted me to say it. I've said it. Although I love your questions, the time is up. I'm really sorry. I cannot answer it. I'll be lynched. Or guillotined. So, I must stop now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ram Sankirtan Jai Jai.
Radhe Govind Govind Radhe Radhe Govind Govind Radhe 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 Govind